In the Old Testament, in the second book of Chronicles and in the first book of Kings, there's a story of King Solomon. Solomon was a young king. He's the son of King David. And shortly after he's made king, he has this vision of God. And in this vision, God says to him, "Ask of me anything you want, and I'll give it to you." So quick, think, what would you ask for? Financial security? Your dream job? Health for your children? An OSU national championship, maybe? You know what Solomon asked for? Wisdom. Really. Out of all the things that you could ask for, you ask for wisdom? What's so great about wisdom? Well, wisdom is that virtue that enables us to see reality as it truly is, to know things, to know truth. That's why it's been said, those who are not wise do not know how to live. You and I live in a rather unique time right now. Ours is perhaps the first time in the period of history that has seemed to have just abandoned the search for truth. Just turn on the radio or watch TV and listen to what we listen to. The airwaves in our discourse are made up of more or less entertainment. Sports, games, celebrities, all sorts of diversions and distractions that in and of themselves are fine, just as long as they stay distractions and diversions. Unfortunately, it's all too easy for us to make them the focus and not the distraction or the diversion. All this comes to mind with today's Feast of the Epiphany and this rather unusual group of people known as the Magi. Who were the Magi? There's all sorts of speculation about them. They show up not just in the Bible, but in all sorts of extra-biblical places as well. But most scholars have come to the conclusion that they were most likely Persian priests. That is to say, they're pagans. They're something like scientists, but better yet, they're more like philosophers. In philosophy, far from being some abstract, esoteric, ultimately irrelevant subject that we can take in college that will have zero practical impact on our lives, instead, it is, in fact, the most single important subject there is. Because philosophy comes from the two Greek words which means love of wisdom, which makes me think of Solomon. Whoever these men were, they were men of great unrest. They would have never left home and traveled so far seeking for something, or really someone. There were people searching for the truth. What makes humans distinct from animals? It's been asked. One great distinction is that the fact we ask questions. Even when apes have been taught sign language and we can communicate with them on some intelligible level, I've always found it interesting that they never ask questions. Humans are the only creatures on this planet that ask questions. We ask questions because we want to know. We want to know truth, which means we live by belief. We live by faith. Who could possibly verify for themselves everything that we've been taught? We entrust ourselves over to others again and again and again. The questions we ask aren't just the trivial ones either. Trivial ones like, what's the point spread on OSU Notre Dame game yesterday? What's the best investment for my money? The questions that are really important that we ask, ones like, why is there something and not nothing? Why am I here? Does life have a meaning? Why is there suffering? What happens after death, if anything? These are the questions we ask. In short, we are asking questions to the answers to our life. We want truth that can give us an ultimate meaning to our lives. Which brings us back to the Magi. And the answer to every single question of substantive value, behind it is Jesus. Jesus is why I'm here. I was made through him. Jesus is where I'm going. I was made for him. He and he alone can show me how to live a human life because he's not only fully God, he's fully man. And it's only in the light of coming to know him that the mystery of my life and your life can finally become clear, which is why the Magi find him. It's when they fall down in joy and adore him because they finally found what they've been looking for their entire lives. Or rather, perhaps better put, they've finally been found. So perhaps in light of today's feast, it'd be worthwhile this week to ask some questions. Questions like, what am I seeking? Am I seeking anything at all? Or do I live from diversion to diversion? Let's ask ourselves, have I found the answers that give ultimate meaning to my life? Or perhaps most importantly, have I encountered Jesus as the Magi did? Or again, better yet, have I been found by him as the Magi were?